the equities market performance this week, of course, as we've seen that the exchange limited last week, will I say, lost about 674 billion after 4 days of trading. But the market this week opened for 4 trading days. I mean, last week rather, opened for 4 trading days. We saw the federal government of Nigeria declare Friday and Monday as public holidays to mark the Easter celebration. The all-share index and the market capitalization depreciated by 2.28% in the week, shedding about over 1,238.21 basis point, while the all-share index started the week at 54,000. Talking about this new week now, particularly point. I mean, it also closed at 52,994.13. That's on Monday. Now, the market cap, which started the week at 29.54 trillion naira, closed at 28.86 trillion naira on Monday. Now, on Tuesday, I'll make it clearer for you in a moment. On Tuesday, we saw that the equities market also opened the holiday, because there was holiday on Friday and there was holiday on Monday, and so there was no trading on Monday really. But on Tuesday, the market now opened in the red, let me put it that way, by about 1.94% to close at 51,952.99 basis point. And in the same vein, market capitalization declined by 569 billion. And so we saw all of that on Wednesday. We saw that the exchange also closed positive buy interest, and the same we also saw a bit of that on Thursday. But Friday today, we're also going to put that into conversation as well, looking at how the market fared today as well. So let's start from our studio here, Ambrose Omodion. Maybe this looks complex a bit. Put us through, or take us through all the week and what the market, how the market fared this week. Let's start from there.
Just to make it simple for investors or listeners, market for the week under review, 4 trading days was a down market. And this confirmed that the market has entered a decline phase in equity market. Because in stock market, technically, you have what we call 4 phases of the market: the accumulation phase, the markup phase, distribution, and markdown. And we see this markdown phase, which is also the decline phase. It says that market is also correcting itself after market have touched as high as 55,984.56. Now market is almost around 51.9 something as to speak now, at the close of business today. For me, market is correcting, looking down, looking for what a trigger, or rather to go up or continue in downtrend. Okay. The possible, but the good thing is that this market.
Let me quickly.
Let me finish. This market is an opportunity for traders. Why investors are busy taking their dividend, as price is being marked down because of dividend, prices have become more attractive for those that are designed in terms of taking a decision what to buy now. Most of the stock are presenting design with opportunity for you to take advantage of the pullback. But for those that are fearful, are still waiting to see what will happen, knowing that we're already in a transition period. These are what is driving the market. Now, for me, investors in the market should keep with their strategy of holding their stock forward for dividend, while traders like us just waiting for where to buy in and take advantage of the pullback in price. That is the situation. There's no fear in the market for me. There's no cause for alarm.
Let me quickly go to online, and let's get to hear the opinions of our guest online. Let's start from Mr. Oladepo Ajayi. Talk to us about the week. How do you think the week has fared so far?
Well, on the fixed income side, the week is more like a bearish week. And one of the reasons why we have seen more like a persistent bearish momentum in the market was as a result of the level of liquidity in the markets. So the past 10 trading section, we've noticed that the level of liquidity in the market has been negative. So that simply means that banks has been visiting the SLF window to actually take fund from CBN to meet their liquidity need. So on the back of that, some of some of the short-dated instruments, and that's one of the reasons why we saw that the Treasury bills 1-year paper maintained that 14.7 levels even at the just completed primary market. So also on the bond side, although we saw a bit of cherry picking on the 2049 maturity and the 2037. And that could be attributable to the fact that both instruments are now returning back to the bond calendar for the quarter. So on the back of that, a lot of portfolio managers are currently cherry picking on some of those instruments. The 2050 and the 2042 that was newly introduced to the calendar are currently suffering huge sell down from most of those traders, and because of the fact that those instruments will actually be enlisted on the bond calendar for the quarter. And what that simply means is that on the forthcoming bond auction, we'll be seeing the 2042 and the 2050 on the bond auction. So on the back of that, there has been aggressive sell down in the market, depth of liquidity in the market. So a lot of people are very, very cautious to actually buy now, knowing fully well that you can still get a better yield soonest.
Okay, let me come to you, Mr. Ogutunashi. Talk to us about what you've noticed as with regards to the trend in the market. We're seeing that the trend in the market has been that of a weak posture and weak appetite from investors. So how do you address that?
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, first of all, like it was mentioned during the introduction, we have a very short trading day this week because of the public holiday.
That's right. That's
number one. Then two, on Tuesday when the market opened, the top on the losers list was Airtel, and if you look at the size of Airtel in the market, you'll notice that any time there is a loss on it affects the overall market. So because on that day, you can imagine losing about 1.9 something % on the index. You can imagine how that will be. So for me, that's one of those things. Then the other thing is that since this week and this month especially, we've been seeing a bit of low activities. Market has been bearish, just like it was mentioned the other time. That market is in phases. So we are beginning to see another phase. It's not for an investor to start panic. What they need to do is to start repositioning themselves. What we have noticed in the stock market, especially in Nigeria, is that when people collect some of those dividends, ordinarily they're supposed to plow it back into the investment. But a lot of people take that investment out. Okay. And then by the time the stock is marked down, it's creating a new opportunity for new investors to come in or for other investors to bring down.
Okay, let me go to Mr. Kasimu Garba Kofi. Talk to us. Are you there?
Yes, I'm there.
Oh, okay. Thank you for joining us now. Okay, so I've introduced you earlier, and I'm sure you've been following with the conversation. So talk to us about what you think it's going on in the market with regards to the weak sentiment that has been recorded in the market in the beginning of the week, especially since the market resumed back from the Easter celebration.
Expect the market to continue bearing that position going further down, because what trigger our market is end of the year result. Most of the big companies have declared their end of the year results. They are either marked down or about to be marked down, and thereafter the price will keep on coming down. And this is what we are witnessing in this week, and we are going to witness more in the next week, because there is more companies that are going to be marked down by next week. And definitely sure, except we get the Q1 result that will trigger the changes the market is likely going to go further down. In view of the fact that the government is in transition, they hardly get any economic statement that will trigger the market up, and the incoming government will have to wait until they are being sworn in. Therefore, the market is just in a dilemma, try to find out the level, but likely going to go further down, and this will continue until by the time we get the Q2 result. Because Q1 result, except the financial sector, which we have witnessed in the UCAP, witnessed in the UBA, and some other bank, most of the Q1 result is likely going to disappoint the investors. The reason is that there is no liquidity. When there is no cash, both the formal and informal sectors will be affected. And this will affect our market.
Okay. Ambrose, let me come to you so that we can wrap up on this before we move to the next conversation. Would you want to give us outlook for next week? Because Alaji said, I mean, it's going to be, we should expect some level of uptake in the coming week. So what's your take?
I'm the same position with you. I said market is already in a decline phase. Tell you that market is still looking worse. Well, like you just said, the only factor that will just trigger the market a lot of, as from next week now on Monday, we'll be expected to see the inflation figure. Once we are done with that data, market will look away from economic data and look straight toward to Q1 numbers, and Q1 number and also May 29. These are the focus that market will be looking at. And Q1 numbers, as I just mentioned, we have seen from the financials, especially the result that was released today from UBA. It's a fantastic number for Q1, a good start for UBA for a new financial year. That of UCAP
I know we'll get back, we'll get into that in a moment.
That of UCAP also came this morning. That's why that UCAP for me is a bit flat in terms of that bottom line. And we saw the first one that came with the Infinity Trust Bank, Mortgage Bank earlier. These are good number that came from the financial sector. Fine, they might not be hit with what happened in the economy. We know that we have experienced kind of a slowdown in economic activities as reviewed by the Purchasing Manager Index for the month of February and March. For that, we all know that for first quarter result will come in the midst. But there are some sectors that also give a good number, like financial sector and also telecom and some sector. But good thing is that I said earlier, and this program was started, that investor in the market should not panic. You know your strategy, you know your investment goal. Trade your goal and know your strategy. But for investor traders, they put back in the market because of markdown, which we know going to experience. And also don't forget that as they're marking down, some companies also releasing what their payment date. For example, now this week we saw that custodian paid their investors or shareholders. The same thing for Dangote Cement, and also today also is the payment date for Dangote Sugar. We expect that by next week, as some of them will be using this cash, some will be reinvesting it back to the market, whilst some are putting out to them. For me, I expect to see a mixed trend. That's why that it will be on the downside board. Let's see the market to see another positive information as we're looking forward to see the the data, inflation data for the month of March next week. For me, let's keep our finger crossed.